Hello everybody, my name is Lyn Ismael and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about the dahlias that I'm growing for next year. 2022 was my first year of growing dahlias, and needless to say, I was hooked. On my first year of growing dahlias, I grew about 40 varieties, and then in 2023 I thought I'd grow just 6 varieties but with multiple plants. However, I found that I lacked purple dahlias, so I decided that instead of just growing single varieties or multiple varieties of specific plants, I was gonna go back to how I did back in 2022, where I planted a variety of dahlias. I just felt happier when I see different forms in my garden. First on my list is, I'm hoping, is a pink runner. I didn't grow pink runner last year because I thought I could get away with just planting zinnias for pink. Unfortunately, I wasn't so happy with the zinnias I grew, and so I missed having pink dahlias or something big focal flowers in my arrangements. But when I was cleaning my basement sometime this fall, I noticed that I have some tubers of the pink runner, which I think is a pink runner. So right now I'm growing them under my lights and I'm hoping that I'll get a few cuttings from it. If they are in fact pink runner, then that'll be awesome. If not, I guess we'll find out in July or August when they start blooming. They are a very prolific bloomer and they were the first ones to bloom early, so that's why I'm choosing to grow them again. Next is another dahlia that I didn't grow last year, but I found it sprouting somewhere in my basement, is Esli. Esli is a prolific early bloomer, has peachy pink coloration, and is compact, grows up to 32 inches tall. I didn't grow them last year because I found out the year before, earwigs really liked them. So I'm hoping that this year when I grow nasturtiums around my dahlia bed, that would prevent or at least limit the amount of damage I get from earwigs without having to put organza bags on each dahlia bloom. Now, Ivanetti. I didn't grow Ivanetti this year because I thought I could rely on my zinnias for the purple focal elements in my arrangements. But like I said earlier, that didn't work well, and luckily, I found some Ivanetti tubers in my basement, which I am now growing under my lights, hoping that I can get some cuttings from them for this year. Ivanetti has dark berry coloring. It's a ball formed, supposed to have long, strong stems, and a great tuber producer. When I grew them in 2022, I didn't get a lot of flowers because I didn't put enough soil in my pot. This year, I'm going to make sure that I have enough soil for each of my dahlias, and going to be fertilizing them as they need, and hopefully they will be as prolific as I've read. I grew American Dawn for the last 2 years and I'm growing them again. It's probably my favorite dahlia. It's got terracotta coloring with dark purple center. It's got great stems, long stems, and they're very prolific. I didn't get a lot of tubers from them though, because I think my soil is too compacted. So I'm hoping that when I grow them in pots, they will produce more tubers for me like they did back in 2022 when I grew them in growing pots or grow pots. Is that what it's called? Anyway, I am growing them again because they're my favorite. Another favorite mine is Cornel Bronze. I've grown these dahlias in the last 2 years. It's peachy orange, a prolific bloomer, and has great phase life. What I noticed is that this year it was more orange, but I'm pretty sure that the year before it was more like a muted peach, almost rust. So I don't know what happened, if it's just the soil condition that made my Cornel Bronze a little bit more oranger than usual, or that I have to get new tubers so that I can get what Cornel Bronze is supposed to look like. Similar to Cornel Bronze is a dahlia that I think is Marn. I got these tubers as part of the mystery bag from Moss and Mirth Farm in BC. And for the last 2 years, I've just been calling it Peach Fave because it's peach and it was my favorite peach. But I think it's Martin. It's a peachy orange, prolific bloomer, and a great vase life. I When I grew them in 2022, this and Cornel Bronze grew from one end of the garden. They're both on other either ends of the garden. But now that I grew them together side by side, I couldn't really. It was kind of hard to tell them apart. So I don't know if what I have, my peach fave, is actually another Cornel Bronze or if it's a different variety. Ferncliff spice is a tuber that I grew last year, but I didn't plant them early enough, and so I didn't get a lot of blooms from it. I'm hoping that since I already have the tuber, I can pre-sprout it in the spring, and then by planting time, they should have enough growth that they'll be able to to bloom prolifically for me. Ferncliff spice is a bulb variety that has dark yellow with burgundy blend. And like all the other dahlias that I'm growing, it's supposed to be prolific. That's why I chose it in the first place. Sister to Cornel Bronze is Cornel. It is dark cherry red ball, supposed to be weather resistant. Don't really know what that means, but I think it's got strong stems that it won't flop around when rain falls. But anyway, I grew these last year, but like the Ferncliff spice, I didn't plant them soon enough, and so they didn't flower prolifically for me. But it's supposed to have lots of blooms like its cousin or sister, Cornel Bronze. When it did flower for me, though, it had really nice red coloring. So I'm excited to see how it'll do for me this year. Now, the next three tubers are from Ferncliff Gardens in BC. First one is Mission Galactica, deep lilac pink ball. Oh no, I guess it's a 5-inch formal, decorative, and it's supposed to have strong stems. I missed having purple in my arrangements this last year, so I went heavy on purple for this from this particular store. Next is a variety that Ferncliff Gardens bred. It's Ferncliff Thunder. It's got pale yellow dipped in dark purple. It's supposed to be prolific and it can go up to 4 inches. The blooms can grow up to 4 inches. I would imagine that these would go well together with Ferncliff spice or when I put them together with sunflowers or Rebecca because those would be smaller. Another variety that Ferncliff Gardens bred is Concord. Like its name, it has Concord grape purple and also a prolific bloomer. You've probably noticed by now that I'm choosing varieties based on how prolific they're supposed to be, just so I can maximize the space that I have. I don't have much space to begin with. I can see the purple of this Concord Dahlia to pair well together with Queen Peach or Lemon Peach Zinnia. The two of them together would look really nice together, I think. Next online store that I bought from is Lily's Garden Store, and this one is Jowie Nikki. It's soft melon peachy pink ball dahlia, also a prolific bloomer. I like the purple center, which I can easily add to other flowers that have purple tones. The Queenie Lemon Peach Zinnia, like I mentioned earlier, and some other Lilliput zinnias that have purple tones would work well as supporting flowers. Not a big fan of white flowers because I find that they are prone to pest damage. But I'm gonna give Rycroft Jen a try and see if they're and see how they do in my garden. It's ivory white, which is supposed to be perfect for wedding work. I don't do any wedding work, but I'm gonna grow it anyway just to see what it looks like. And it's also a prolific bloomer. A variety that caught my eye is Milena Flor. It's described as having tropical shades of coral, papaya, and gold. It's compact, grows up to 30 inches tall, which means I should probably pinch it early on just so I can get more stems or longer stems from it. But apparently, it's prolific bloomer. I do like the combination of that warm and somewhat cooler shade together. Next is Wizard of Oz. Now I grew this dahlia in 2022, but I didn't save the tubers for 2023, so I didn't plant them last year. So this year I bought another tuber, and it's described as soft cotton candy pink. Grows up to 36 inches tall, which means I need to pinch them quite early on, and it's a prolific bloomer. Another dahlia that has a purple center is Wine Eye Gel. It's blush pink with darker purple eye. It's supposed to shift creamy when the weather cools, because I've seen pictures of it more of the yellowy, creamy yellow in other stores. So I'm curious what it would look like in person. It's a prolific bloomer and a great tuber producer. Rock Run Ashley is a dahlia variety that I remember having lots of hype maybe last year. Its coloring is buff to blush. Some people describe it as creamy orange blooms. It's also compact, grows 40 inches tall. So I'm thinking I should probably, well, I guess with all dahlias you wanna give it a good pinch so that they can give you long stems in the end. But with this one especially because it's compact, they need to be pinched. Now Cozy Town Bounty is a dahlia variety that's been bred in Cozy Town Farm. It's amber base with rosy red blush. And with coasty town varieties, they are bred to be prolific bloomer and tuber producers. So I'm excited to get my hand on one of these tubers. I tried last year, but I wasn't lucky. But I think because more people have grown this variety before, there's more available for us to buy. So if you're looking for coasty down bounty, just shop around. You'll likely find a farm that has tubers available for you to buy. Natalie G is a melon pink with lavender dusting. It's another compact one, 35 inches, but it's a prolific bloomer when you pinch. I know they all kind of look similar, all the peachy ones, but they all have their own unique traits. So this year I'll see which ones I like the most, and maybe I'll trim down the ones that I don't, since they all have similar coloring, and then that'll give me a chance to explore more varieties to try for 2025. Where Cozy Town Bounty is more peach, Cozy Town Baby Cates is more like a buff pink, shifting to apricot in the fall. It's 35 inches tall, which means it needs to be pinched, but it's a prolific bloomer and a tuber producer. I mean, a great tuber producer. Cherish is a dahlia that's similar to One Eye Jill, except the yellow is brighter. It's pale yellow with purple center, and it should have excellent stems. It's also a prolific bloomer. It's quite similar in color to my favorite zinnia. I've already mentioned it, Queenie Lemon Peach. So we'll see how they work well together. Queenie Lemon Peach is it's darker in color, while Cherish is paler. I finally got a hold of one of the Snow Hoe varieties. This is Snow Hoe Doris. It's coral, peach, and apricot. It's supposed to be vigorous and has strong stems. The peachy center makes it look like it's glowing, so I'm really excited to grow this one in particular. Next is similar to Snow Doris. This is Joey Paula, but instead of the peachy color inside, it's outside, and then you have the dark coloring inside. It's also a prolific bloomer. Brown sugar is perfect for fall. It's rusty red orange with great vase life and a prolific bloomer. I can see it pairing well with some Rebecca Saharas that have more like an antique look, or with Potomac Orange Snapdragon or Costa Apricot Snapdragon. Apricota Cosmos should do well with this too. Another red ball variety is Babette. It's deep wine and has tall, strong stems, while Ivanetti is more deep purple and Cornell is more cherry red. This is more like deep wine, so it's kind of like in the middle. If you make Cornell and Ivanetti have a baby, then you get Babette. Now I don't know that for sure, but I'm I'm imagining that would be the case. So we'll see if I'm right. I didn't have a lot of deep red focal flowers last year, and I kind of missed having something like that with my arrangement. So that's why I'm going with a few different red varieties. Next red variety is Tuicani. Now I don't know much about this because I couldn't find anything on the web, but I found this at more farms in Chilliwack, BC. It is a warmer red, so I think it's just nice to have option. If I want cooler red, then I go with Babette. If I want warmer red, I go with Tuicani, and if I want something in between, then I have Cornell. We'll see which one's prolific, or if this Tuicani is prolific. Another snow hoe variety is Snow Hoe Sonia. It's pale purple, more like lavender, supposed to have sturdy, long lasting stems, and prolific bloomer. This color should be great if in July or August, if it is an early bloomer. Not sure how I'll use it in fall arrangements, but I think if I use Mahogany Splendor, which is a dark hibiscus foliage, along with some warm colors, I think that would work well. Last but not least is Peaches and Cream. This got a lot of hype in the spring of 2023, and I'm glad I finally got one. It's a soft muted salmon with white tips. It's also a prolific bloomer. It's apparently a favorite for wedding work. Not that I do any wedding work, but it's there if I want it. So there you go. This is my Dahlia 2024 edition. I hope you found this video entertaining or helpful. And if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, please do. It just helps other people find my content. And until I see you again next Thursday, bye for now.